Hi everybody, welcome back to Paleo Cooking Live. I'm Tina Wells from Living Delicious Nutrish, and today we're starting our Whole30 prep. I'm going to show you one simple recipe that you can use 3 different ways. So prep should be easy, quick, and if you make enough of it, it'll last you for not just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a couple of days. You know, Whole30 is starting with my virtual group on January 4th. We have lots of people enrolled. I still have a couple more spaces and prep starts today. So this is perfect timing, right? The first thing I want to show you is the Delish and Nutrish shredded Instant Pot chicken. And this could not be simpler. Originally on my website, I had it called salsa chicken, and you can still make it that way, but I've modified the recipe and updated it so that it's now salsa or naked. So all you have to do is, in your Instant Pot, which I already did, 3 to 4 chicken breasts, or as many as you'd like to cook, a little drizzle of olive oil, salt and pepper. That's it. If you want to add a jar of salsa, make sure you choose something that is Whole30 compatible. I love the Trader Joe's tomatillo salsa. So you can do red, you can do green, whatever you prefer. So this is done. It cooked for 12 minutes on high. Don't worry if you don't have an Instant Pot. You can do this in the oven in a baking dish with foil over the top or with a lid, or you can do it in a slow cooker and it takes about 3 to 4 hours. But if this is fresh chicken, you can do it in 12 minutes. If it's frozen, don't let that stop you. Throw it in the Instant Pot and it's ready in 20 minutes. So I let the steam release naturally. And now I'm going to take this chicken. Let me grab my other cutting board. And I'm just going to put it on my cutting board. You can see they're nice and tender. There's a lot of juice in the bottom. You can do this with thighs if you like that better. All of these recipes are very flexible. Let me get this guy out of the way. And after you shred it and put it into a container to store in your refrigerator, save a little bit of the juice from inside the Instant Pot or inside your casserole dish. And look at this. It's so easy to just shred. Now I did the naked version because I'm going to show you 3 different ways to use this chicken. And it's just so simple. And you can see how easy this is to shred. And I'll get to the rest of this later. As I said, I would just shred the rest of this, put it into a container and store it in the refrigerator. And then I have my chicken prepped for any of the recipes that I'd like to cook. So let me put this away and I'll show you the first thing I'm making. Today, I want to show you a really delicious breakfast frittata. This is so simple. I'm going to turn my pan on. I have my burner going here. Adjust it so you can see. With just a skillet, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. And I'm just going to add a little bit of ghee. You can use any oil that you like. You know, we try to stay away from seed oils when we're paleo, but for Whole30, no seed oils, no PUFA oils, which is polyunsaturated fats. We're only cooking with natural ingredients, as unprocessed as possible. So this is ghee that I get from Thrive Market, and ghee is just clarified butter. There's also a ghee spray, which I'll use for the casserole dish. You can use avocado oil, you can use olive oil, any one of those kinds of simple oils. I have some red pepper diced up. I'm gonna throw that in. Just enough to get it soft. It's gonna cook the rest of the way in the oven. And I have a half a shallot. I'm not a big onion person first thing in the morning, and shallots are a little milder and tend to do the trick for me because I love that flavor, but I like it to just not be quite so pronounced first thing in the morning. So this is a half a shallot, and I'm just gonna mince it. Keep the palm of your hand down and your fingers up. I'm going through it vertically first, sorry, horizontally, and making thin slices. And make sure you're using a really sharp knife. Sharp knives are better than dull knives because when your knife is dull, you're gonna put more force into it and more potential to go through your hand or your finger. So make sure your blades are really sharp and keep your fingers back. Now that I've gone through it horizontally, I'm gonna go through it in this direction across the top, making about equal slices as I did horizontally. And again, I just think shallots give that really lovely onion, slightly garlicky flavor. And now I'm just going through the top in the other direction to make these nice little minced pieces. And I'm using about a half a shallot. If that's too much for you, you can use less. Again, these are all really flexible. The whole point of cooking when you're Whole30 is to make recipes that you will continue to cook after Whole30. Even when you're not doing Whole30, you want to be able to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And all of these recipes are with healthy ingredients. So I'm just going to drop those in. It's about 2 tablespoons of shallots with about a half a pepper. And I'm just going to stir that. And while that's sauteing a little bit, I don't want to brown anything. I just want to soften it and sweat it a little bit. I'm going to break 6 eggs into a bowl. I have my handy trash can over here. I love egg dishes, and the fun thing about this one is I'm showing you one of many ways that you can do this egg dish. You can make a big casserole of it, you can cut it into slices, keep them in an airtight container, and these are good cold. You can reheat it in the microwave before you go out the door in the morning, and you're getting a good, healthy dose of fat, protein, and some carbs with the fresh vegetables. So I'm just gonna whisk these up. And I have some fresh coconut milk, full fat coconut milk, and I'm gonna do a half a cup. So I'm just measuring a half a cup. I'm gonna add that to the eggs. Now at this point, you can do any other vegetables you like. You can do, I have spinach and arugula. I love this spinach and arugula organic mix. I use it for salads. I use it on sandwiches, anything. Those are looking really good. And the eggs and milk, coconut milk, are mixed together. I used to do this with heavy cream or half and half, and now I don't have to. So I'm gonna grab my casserole dish. I recommend using a 7 by 9 inch casserole dish, and I'm gonna spray it with avocado oil. Again, I could use the spray ghee, whatever you have on hand. Don't use Pam. We're staying away from those things. And now I'm just gonna put the vegetables right into the bottom. Those shallots got a little browned, probably went a little further than I wanted them to, but you don't want shallots to get too dark because then they just get bitter. And now I'm gonna add about a cup of the shredded chicken. Again, if you do it with the salsa, it's delicious with this. If you do it naked, that's fine too. And then I'm gonna throw in a little bit of the spinach arugula. I like to tear it up. My mom used to get so mad at me when I do this and leave the stems in, but I love the stems. If you have the patience to pull the stems off, go for it. And I'm not really measuring this. It's probably a couple of cups, but I like to just layer it on top. And now I'm gonna pour my egg mixture right over the whole top. And this will go into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. I check it halfway through at about the 15-minute mark. And if I have to rotate it in the oven, then I'll turn it to make sure that it's cooking evenly. I have a convection oven, so it does have a fan and it does help with the evenness, but I still, old habits died hard. So that's it. If you wanted to season it with some salt and pepper, I like to do that when it comes out. If you wanted to season the vegetables with some fresh herbs, anything like that, you can do however you like to your preference. This is gonna bake for about 30 minutes and I'll show you what it looks like done. I'll be right back. So here it is finished. I have one that I did earlier. It's still a little warm. And I can get 6 nice slices out of this. So that basically works out to be 1 egg per person. Just gonna cut it down the middle and then into thirds going the other direction. And when this comes out of the oven, it's nice and fluffy. Grab my dish and show you how delicious this is. Couple slices of this with maybe some leftover potatoes from the night before. You could throw those in. It's delish and nutrish. I'll get this out of the way and I'm gonna show you a fun lunch dish with the shredded chicken. So here's another trick that I want you to know about that I think you'll appreciate. You don't have to cook chicken at all. I'll show you. When I'm feeling lazy or pressed for time, or maybe a little of both, I buy this Simply Roast chicken breast at Trader Joe's. If you don't have a Trader Joe's nearby, there's a good chance that your local grocery store offers something like this. Simply Roasted chicken breast is exactly that. Olive oil, salt, pepper, just like I did in the Instant Pot, okay? It's shredded, sliced actually, and there's nothing to it. It does only last for a couple of days in the refrigerator, so you do want to make sure that you use it right away. Let me get a bowl and I'm going to show you my fruity, nutty chicken salad. So I'll just use my hands to break this up a little bit. I have to see where all my people are today. I don't have you live over here on my iPad like I usually do. There we go. And I'm just breaking this up quickly. These strips are great to just throw on top of a salad with some compatible salad dressings. You can heat them up. You can toss them into a skillet with a little barbecue sauce. I mean, they really are the same thing that I'm showing you how to do with the Instant Pot chicken. But if you're already at the grocery store buying chicken, why not just cook it yourself? But if you're pressed for time, it's 5 o'clock on a Thursday night and you're on the brink of ordering a pizza, just grab one of these. It's so much easier and it's so much more nutritious. And you won't miss out on being Whole30 for your 30 days. Nobody wants to go back to day 1. So that's that. Let me wash my hands. Wash my hands 1,000 times a day. And now to this, I'm going to add, I'll use my big spoon. I have about 1/2 cup of organic celery that I diced up. Gives it a nice crunchiness. The shallot, again, about 1 tablespoon. We already bought shallots, we might as well use them up, right? If you prefer onion, use onion instead. I've got about 1 cup of red seedless grapes. That's what makes it fruity. and about a 1/4 cup of sliced almonds. If you prefer walnuts or pecans, go for it, or leave the nuts out entirely. That's what makes it crunchy, fruity and nutty. And then I'm using the Chosen Foods avocado mayonnaise. I buy this jar at Costco. I think it's $6.99 for this giant jar. If you go to Whole Foods or another store, grocery store, you might get a 12-ounce jar for $8.99. This is 24 ounces for $6.99. This is an excellent fat. It's a great way to incorporate fats into your meals. This is a great salad that you can have on the go. I'm just gonna add about a cup of the mayonnaise, little salt and pepper. I have pink Himalayan sea salt, which is a lot milder than regular table salt or kosher salt. I like it because I can adjust the seasonings. I have a lot more control and there's no additives. And then a little fresh cracked pepper. Finally, a little lemon. I have delicious lemons this time of year here in Florida. And this one's really ripe, so I'm gonna have a lot of juice. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in there. Gives it a nice brightness. I'm catching the seeds with my fingers. I'm just gonna toss that together. Now I have this avocado sitting here because sometimes I'll just cut up an avocado and add that to it as well. So now I have 2 kinds of healthy fat, protein, and some delicious carbs in the way of the fruit. The nuts have zinc and magnesium, and this is done in a flash. So if you're cooking chicken as part of your prep, let's say on a Sunday, and you decide you want to make some of this to keep in the fridge for a couple of days, I would add the avocado right before you eat it. But I mean, this is really just, it's nice and bright from the lemon. It has a nice sweetness from the grapes. And I can put this over a bed of greens, or I can put it on some lettuce leaves like romaine leaves. So let me show you. I have some lettuce leaves right here, and I like to just spoon it right down the center and make a delicious wrap. And you can give yourself a nice, healthy portion. And that celery gives it a nice crunch with the nuts. And you didn't have to cook anything at all. Enjoy your lunch. The last thing I want to show you is a chicken curry. Again, using our shredded chicken. So let me go get those ingredients and I'll be right back. I love my speed rack. Keeps everything organized and off the counter. Now for this dish, I'm going to show you some things that I'm doing from scratch, and I'm also going to show you some things that I like to do as convenience items, and you can do either way. I'm going to start this in a skillet on my burner. Get this in the center for you so you can see a little better. And while that's heating, I'm just gonna add some coconut oil. I have about a tablespoon or 2 of coconut oil. And it's chilly here in Florida, chilly for us anyway. So it does want to be a little stiffer than usual. You know, it solidifies at room temperature. And next I'm gonna put an onion. I'm going to show you how to cut this onion. Slide that out of the way while that's melting. I have a YouTube video that's like a 2-minute video, not even, on how to cut an onion. So let me show you real quick how I do this. You cut the butt end off first. This is the root end, and this is the stem end. This is the part that grows out of the ground. So first we're going to remove that, and then we're going to turn it around and take off the stem end. What happens when you do that is it releases the gases, and if it's a fresh onion, it's not gonna let you cry. And we don't wanna cry when we're cutting onions. Now I just made a slit. I'll show you again. From top to bottom, just going through the skin. And then I'm just gonna peel that off all the way around. The brown skin comes right off. There's a little bit of a slippery skin that's sometimes attached as well. And that just comes right off. Got a little spot on this guy, so I'm gonna cut him off too. And now I cut it in half from top to bottom. And now I'm gonna use the same technique that I used for the shallot. And this is a chopping, dicing, mincing technique. The only difference between chop, dice, and mince is the finish size. So chop is gonna be about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Dice is gonna be about a 1/2 inch, and mince is gonna be mini, 1/4 inch, even smaller. So again, starting from the top with your fingers out of the way, going through, but not all the way. Leave it connected in the back a little bit. And I'm gonna do about 1/2 inch slices because I want to make this a dice. And then across the top, again, don't go all the way through. We're using that in the back as a hinge to kind of hold it together. Keeping your fingers back and your knuckles forward. And your knife is using your knuckles as a guide. And then turning it and slicing through it in the opposite direction so you get that perfect dice. And again, in 1/2 inch sections. Now this last part that's connected, where it's all been holding it together for you, you can just slice through very quickly. And now my oil is heated up. So I'm gonna just scoop this right into my oil. And if you watched me cook before, you know I love making a mess. The next ingredient is a pepper. I like a yellow pepper, and I'm gonna show you a really great trick. I also have a YouTube video on how to do this as well. I already washed him and took his label off. You can see how it has almost sides. It's not exactly square, but there are sides. So all you're gonna do is slice down each side all the way around. And then this last part, just go right between where that rib and the side is, okay? Now I take the bottom off. There's the seeds and the ribs all in one place, and 4 lovely slices that you can go through quickly and dice. You guys, I'm doing this live, right? Am I taking any time at all? I'm stopping to explain it to you. When you get the hang of this and you start doing it all the time, you'll see how fast it goes. This can be done in 30 minutes because the chicken's already cooked. And again, I'm just going through, slicing each section into about 1/2 inch pieces. I want them to be about the same size as the onion because I want everything to cook at the same time. So I'm just gonna scrape that in, and I'm gonna give it a stir to make sure those onions don't get too brown. And it smells really good in here. And I think I see a comment, and I still haven't figured out how to get to comments on here, sorry. Oh, I'm never gonna figure this out, haha. Okay, sorry if I'm not answering your questions. Okay, so the next thing is a garlic clove. You don't have to put the garlic clove. If you love garlic like I do, you can throw it in. If you really love garlic, you can do 2 garlic cloves. So whole garlic clove, flattest side down on the counter, flat side of the blade with the sharp side away from you. Fingers up, palm down, give it a smash. And now it comes right out of the skin. I'm sure you know that trick. And now I'm just gonna mince it up. I always throw the garlic in after I give everything else a head start because it will cook faster and we don't want it to burn. Another thing that I like to do with garlic sometimes is just smash it with the side of the blade and drag it across the cutting board a few times. And that really helps kind of break it up and release all that nice garlic oil. My cutting board is rocking around a little bit because I have a towel under it. I don't have my usual towel, it's a little thicker. So be careful that you have a really nice stable surface when you're cutting. I have wooden countertops, but I don't like to do garlic and onion on my wooden countertops because I also will roll pastry on here occasionally. So there's my garlic. All minced up, going in. Give that a stir. And while that's cooking, you can see the onions are just starting to get a little translucent. And the peppers are getting a nice bright yellow. If you like red peppers, you can use those. If you want to mix it up and do a little of each, you can do that. This is very forgiving. Now I'm going to grab my chicken. Actually, let's do this first. This is another Trader Joe's item. No, I'm not an affiliate for Trader Joe's, but I do enjoy having one close by and using a lot of their fun ingredients. These are frozen carrots. They're multicolor, already sliced coins. It's a 14-ounce bag. I'm going to put about half of it in. I love that they're already done and they give the dish some nice bright color. Now stir those around. Some of them are really big carrots too, look at that. Now these were already partially thawed. You don't have to thaw them first. You can throw them in cold. Just make sure it simmers long enough that they become tender and of course thawed. And now I'm going to add some fresh ginger. I have a couple of fingers of ginger here. I'm going to snap it open. And here's the trick to doing ginger. Don't peel it. Use one of these guys, okay? If you have a box grater or a little hand cheese grater like this, you're not going to eat cheese for Whole30, so put it to good use, okay? It's going to be about a tablespoon of fresh garlic. I'm going to grate it right into the dish while it's cooking. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see if it's about a tablespoon yet. Here's the thing that I love about this trick. All the skin stays on top and the ginger is on the bottom. So I just swipe it with my finger and drop it in. And now we'll give that a stir. And I didn't have to peel my garlic and I can still save this. If I want to cut off these raggedy edges before I put it away, I can do that. And I'm going to stir that in, and the garlic and the ginger are just so fragrant and smelling so delicious. I almost could have used a bigger pan. And my onions are turning purple from the purple carrots. And now I have two options for seasoning. I have Thai curry paste, which you could use green or red. I like the green. Or I have garam masala, which is an already blended Indian spice, whichever one you prefer. I like the paste, so I'm going to go ahead and stir that in. Probably should have opened this guy so I don't cut through my hand on live Facebook, right? And whoever decided that shrink wrapping jars for the grocery or anything else didn't have females with fingernails in mind. So women engineers step up and let's address this issue, okay? I'm just going to use this tablespoon of, actually just a coffee spoon, teaspoon. It's about a half a jar. If you like spicy, you can add a little heat to this with some cayenne or some red pepper flakes. I like to stir this in and get it nice and melted and distributed around on all the vegetables. Whenever I cook something that has a thick paste and then I'm gonna add liquid, I always start with the thickest, most densest thing and go to thinnest. If I put, this is gonna get some chicken bone broth and some coconut milk. If I put those in and then I try to stir that curry paste in, it's never gonna blend in. So since I'm adding it first, I'm mixing it around, nice and well distributed. And now I can add my chicken stock. I have 16 ounces, 2 cups of chicken stock. And then I'm gonna measure about a half a cup of coconut milk. And this one looks a little lumpy, but all those lumps will cook out once I put it into the skillet. And this will come to a boil and then I'll reduce it to a simmer. This is almost like a soup that eats like a meal. And you could do it in a stock pot. You don't have to use a skillet like I do, but because this is an induction burner, which is a magnetic cooking process, I need to use pans that are magnetic, and I don't have one of those that would incorporate this size. So you'll just have to bear with me here. But that's gonna come to a boil and then it's gonna reduce. Let me talk to you a little bit about my chicken stock. I love Kettle and Fire bone broth. I am an affiliate of Kettle and Fire. So if you buy it off my website, I do get a little commission, so thanks in advance. But you can get this in the grocery store. You certainly don't have to buy it online. I think there is a subscription program if it's something that you're gonna use all the time. And I also believe that you can do, you can get some free shipping. I offer a 10% discount, so if it's something that you do wanna try, you can use my discount code. I do really love this brand. The quality is just not to be believed. And the other thing I love about it is you can just sip on this. You can put this into a coffee mug, a travel mug, and take it with you in the car. It's better than coffee. Squeeze a little lemon in it. I like to make Greek avgolemono soup with this, so I'll just beat an egg a little bit, add some lemon juice, temper the egg with some warm chicken bone broth, and mix it all together so the egg doesn't scramble. And now I've fortified my chicken stock, which has collagen and protein, with even more protein by adding that egg, and it gives it a nice richness. You can throw in some shredded chicken if you like. Speaking of shredded chicken, let's grab the chicken and I'll finish shredding it so I can add it to the coconut. So as I said, for anyone who might just be joining me, I just cooked this chicken breast for about 12 minutes in the Instant Pot. It comes out nice and super tender. And I'm just gonna shred it up. And you can go right into the fridge with it like this. And then you have a protein ready to go for whatever dish you'd like to cook. Cassie, I see you leaving me messages. That all looks amazing. Well, thank you. And Messina's watching me. My friend Messina from Italy. We've been friends for, what, 35 years? She lived in the US for a while and retired to Italy, to her family's hometown. Buon Natale. I don't know how to say Happy New Year, Messina. You need the Kettle and Fire bone broth link is on my homepage with all of my affiliate logos. Just click the logo and it will take you right to their webpage. This is taking forever to boil. There it goes. Come on, guy. So in the essence of time here, I'm just going to add some of this chicken in. I would like to reduce this a little bit more, but I can add the chicken and then let it simmer together. The chicken absorbs all those delicious flavors. Did I salt and pepper this? Let's put a little salt and pepper too. Just about a teaspoon of salt. I like to let people adjust seasoning to their liking or leave it out. Just a little pepper. And this is just gonna start to reduce. And I'm gonna put a little chicken in so you can see how the chicken looks, but I'm concerned I will start spilling over. And I just love to serve this in a bowl. Like I said, it's almost a soup that eats like a meal. And you can definitely add more chicken. It's like a curry stew. You could do this with any other type of meat that you like. And the last little culinary technique I want to show you is chiffonade of basil. Chiffonade is basically little skinny strips. And unfortunately, the basil in my yard has been suffering from the cold weather. So it's looking a little meager. But I'll show you and you'll get the idea. And this is an excellent way to finish this dish. So I always wait to add the basil at the end after it's all cooked and I'm plating it up. So I've stacked up all of the basil leaves together so you can see. And I've got the biggest ones on the bottom. Don't get crazy with it. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. And then I'm rolling it tight like a cigar and holding it with one hand and slicing through the leaves with the other. Very thin, as thin as you can get it. Take the stems out. My mother will be upset. And what you get are ribbons of basil. And when this is finished, I would put this into the bowl. It only needs to simmer for about 20 minutes. And it will get nice and thick, and I'll put a finished picture with the recipe as well on the website, because this is going to be a new recipe on the website. And then I would just top it, as I'll show you. It is a little thin. I like it nice and thick. With a little bit of basil. And I love some lemon or lime in here as well. I'm out of limes. There weren't any at the store. But you can add a zest of lime. You can add finished lime. You can squeeze some fresh lime wedges and serve the lime wedges on the side. And that's it. Those are 3 dishes with already prepared shredded chicken that you can do easily in your Instant Pot or in your oven, or buy the finished chicken from your local grocer or Trader Joe's, and you have 3 easy Whole30 meals. This is excellent leftovers for lunch the next day. It's packable in a nice little container. It will get nice and thick and have a delicious sauce. My Whole30 group, as I said, does start on Monday, January 4th. I still have a couple of spots if anyone wants to sign up. Prep started today. First emails went out today. We're going to do a meet and greet on Saturday. So if you're interested in joining, sign up today and we can get the meet and greet going on Saturday at 11:30 Eastern Time. I hope that I can see you all there. I'm really looking forward to this group. I have some people that have come back and are doing it again with me, like Cassie, and who's my favorite fan. And I have some new people who haven't worked with me yet, so I'm excited to do the process with them. I hope that you loved all of these dishes as much as I do. If you try them and you post pictures, be sure to tag Living Delish and Nutrish so I can see how your finished dishes look, and here I'm always available for feedback or technical questions. So I will be back next week, Wednesday at 1 o'clock with more Whole30 prep. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend and Happy New Year.